So we're going to do scarlet and gray. We're going to do this wasp nest stuff. So we got our part A's. I'm going to actually do, here's another tip for anybody that's kind of new to resin casting or my channel. I'm actually going to write on here. So I want 56 grams. And this one's going to be the gray. I actually did this last week and still managed to screw up. So I'm going to try and concentrate. 84 grams, and then this one's going to be scarlet. But as long as you're paying attention, usually that helps. That's a good kind of tip. So we're going to clear that out, zero that out, and add our part B. Alright, so we got it. We're going to get our little mixing sticks out. Stir these up. If you're using a pigment-based dye, you want to shake it up, because it's like, pigment means it's like larger chunks of color, and they tend to settle. Okay, so I want 1.2 grams of this gray stuff in here. We're going to use a maroon dye. And we're going to use that super russet. That's what I used on that other one that I made for my brother-in-law. The screwdriver handle. And it worked out pretty well. So, we're going to put, let's see here, like 3, maybe 4 drops of this maroon mix. And that darkens it up pretty good, right? Obviously, maroon has a little bit of blue in it, but the super russet Perlex powder kind of offsets that, and it brings it kind of to what I would call a crimson, or not a crimson, a scarlet kind of color. Maybe put a little bit too much of the maroon dye in there, but I think it'll look alright. Alright, so here's our 3 blank mold. I'm actually going to start, here's the deal. So usually I push things in. I don't think that you can just push this down in. That's going to trap air. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one down in here and let the resin kind of seep up into it. We'll put the holes on the side, on their sides. I think that'll be kind of the best way to do this. Just kind of arranging that to look kind of, try and fill up the holes. I'm just kind of pouring it all over the place, trying to kind of fill. This thing has holes sticking up. We might get, quite a few air pockets. I don't know how this is going to work. I've never done something exactly like this. Then I'm going to pour the gray kind of over this, here and there, willy-nilly. Pour a little bit more of the garnet. I think I've said every word for dark red at this point. Scarlet, that's what we're doing here. Scarlet, garnet, crimson, it's all the same thing. Pretty close anyway. Now by pouring this in, I might be getting a little bit more kind of a bleeding effect, where the colors are bleeding together a little bit, but in some cases that actually looks pretty cool. Now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to kind of play with these things. I'm going to tap them, do this kind of stuff, and just work it around a little bit to try and get any. I can actually see air bubbles popping just by tapping this. So hopefully this will help a little bit. Just move it around, let the resin kind of shift around in there, and I don't know. I'm hoping that that'll do something for us. The pressure will help too. It's not like it's not going to do anything, but it can't fix every problem. And the bigger the air pocket is, the more pressure you'd have to apply for it to get rid of it. So, get this thing in here ready to go. We'll pressurize this pot to 70 psi. And we'll be ready to go to dinner. All right, let's see how this turns. Stop it and see what's going on. It's looking pretty good in this blank here. There's not a ton of the honeycomb all the way through. It's kind of, I think it's angled sideways a little bit. It's turning fine. There we go. Let's take a look at it, see what's going on. So it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Well, there's an air pocket right there. So yeah, I kind of figured we'd get a lot of those. It's kind of hard to avoid it. Even using the slow set resin, it just, air gets trapped down there. It's kind of hard to get it wriggled free. And the pressure pot can only do so much. It'll get the smaller stuff, but big air pockets, pressure pot really can't fix. A few bumps here and there. And we'll just, ends are almost true already. Or even with the bushing, I should say. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. A little bit of sanding. I think we'll be in good shape. It's too bad that there's that hole there. We didn't get that hole, that little dip right there all the way out. So I think the shaping's good. Let's get some 240 grit sandpaper out. I used the Abranet. Let's see here. Where's my scissors? Abranet works pretty well, especially on resin blanks. It doesn't load up as quick. It still will a little bit, but being a screen, you can kind of blow it out real quick. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. So the red is a little bit sparkly. Got some tubes showing through down there. That kind of, I didn't paint the tubes or anything like that, but it looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna hit it with the light. That might kind of blow it out for you guys, but just look and see. Looks like it's pretty good. I think I did a pretty good job on the polishing there. I think I'm just going to assemble this and hide that little hole. Well, let me look at the clip and make sure it'll actually hide it. I really want to assemble it, now that I know how to assemble these pins. You know what? I'm going to call that good. I think it'll work fine. this piece, let's see. Yeah, no. This piece. No. Yeah. So this little piece that has a step, a dent, step, whatever, indentation, it's pressed into the... Why don't they just put these two together in the bag? That's what I don't understand about some of these kits. They could really save us some time. They would just pre-assemble some of this stuff. Okay, that goes in there. Clip goes over that. And we press it onto the end. Now I got to be very careful that I hide this hole. Saving myself some trouble here, I know. Hide it and discount the price. Ooh, that looks pretty good. And then these parts. So this brass tube thing gets pressed into the nib first. This is a pretty cool kit. It's got a lot of weird little pieces in all this, but I like the looks of this. That's a lot nicer looking to me than a Sierra, normal Sierra one. I think that's all it goes. Then this guy, how did this work? This guy goes in here, and you press that into that tube. There you go. And the little thing off the ink. That way. Twist that, make sure it works, and voila! There it is. Here's the scarlet and gray. And I have a feeling I know exactly who this is going to go to.